All right, enough waiting. It is time to unleash the first name. And we've been talking about this guy for a long time. At one point, it seemed like he was very, very underpaid. And now it seems like he might be slightly underpaid. Some things have happened with him personally. Some things have happened with him on the current roster that he is on. And the perfect Bobby Portis storm is upon us. Let me break down what this storm looks like. Number one, Bobby Portis, his value is down. Okay, he had the suspension earlier this season where he took something that he didn't know he was taking, and he came back towards the end of the season. His value is down. There were Bucks fans that were ready to get rid of him. All right, this is Bobby Portis we're talking about. The second thing, the Bucks are a complete disaster. Yes, they just extended their GM, but I believe that is more so based on the belief that this GM could rebuild this thing. The Bucks are probably going to lose to the Pacers, and word on the street is that Giannis is headed to Brooklyn. Brooklyn has a ton of assets that they can divvy out. So Giannis ends up in Brooklyn. Cam Johnson goes off the market because they will need vets around him, and it's a complete blow up in Milwaukee. And last but not least, if you follow the cookie crumbs, Scott Perry has a relationship with Bobby Portis from signing him with the Knicks. So he has a relationship with Bobby Portis. And Bobby Portis has a player option for about $13 million, which I believe he will opt out of. And once he opts out of that, he will be a free agent, but it would still have to be some type of sign and trade.
Yes, unless the Kings were willing to, in the short term, go into the luxury tax.
Which might be a thing. Maybe we're on a different time now. Who knows?
It's also different because it's like you just have to get below the luxury tax by the end of the season to pay luxury tax.
Bobby Portis and his toughness, his grittiness, he's getting into it with Pacers players. He had a great game in game 2. He almost brought the Bucks back. So he is somebody that I believe will be able to, not just me, a lot of us have believed will bring that dog to the Kings, will bring more length to the Kings. He can play center when necessary. To me, obviously, it's not a flip, but you move on from Trey Lyles, who we will be doing the end of season grade on Trey Lyles. But if you are serious about being even just a sustainable playoff team, you need a Bobby Portis in the spots that you've been playing Trey Lyles. That's what I see this as. I see Bobby Portis taking over the Trey Lyles role and obviously bringing a lot more, no disrespect to Trey Lyles, a lot more production there.
So you're seeing him as the backup 4 with Valanciunas as the backup 5.
Yes, and you could play them because of Bobby Portis's ability to shoot the 3. You could play Bobby at the 4. If it makes sense, you could play him at the 5. He's kind of not a full-on Swiss Army knife, but because he can shoot the 3 ball and he's got that size, he can play different positions, which is basically what they tried to do with what they did do with Trey Lyles, but this will be at a higher level.
Does that change if they move DeMar DeRozan for, let's just say, for example, insert point guard here? Does that change in that scenario for you?
And what, you start Bobby Portis?
You either start Bobby Portis or start Malik. That's the...
I'm not a point guard.
No. I'm saying a point guard, Malik, Levine, Keegan, or a point guard, Levine, Keegan, Portis.
Based on what we've heard from Scott Perry, I believe that he would not start Malik. I believe that he would start Bobby Portis.
And let's note that Keon Ellis would still be on the team in this scenario.
Yes, and it would be 2 super subs with Malik and Keon Ellis.
Yeah, so that's kind of the equation there. So the ideal situation is bring in Bobby Portis for a backup 4 role. Mm-hmm. Maybe they bring back Jake LaRavia. He can be the backup 3. And now you've got the length that De'Aaron Fox was screaming for and that Scott Perry articulated wanting to add to in his introductory press conference.
Bobby Portis had 28 and 12 in game 2. They did lose 123 to 115. He had 28 points, 12 rebounds, and the toughness that the Kings have been asking for, that Kings fans have been begging for years. Accountability. Now, look, I'm not saying Bobby Portis is a perfect player, but you look at who's available and you look at distressed assets, and Bobby Portis has gone from a really good contract to a contract that is still good. Now, if he opts in, he can still be moved, but you got to move things around. Either way, I believe that this, as we kick off our offseason extravaganza, Bobby Portis is somebody that should be at the top of Scott Perry's list. You know he's got his agent's number. You know he's got contacts there. So that's where we are starting on all that. And he could help spell Domantas Sabonis. And speaking of Domantas Sabonis, we have sound from Sam Amick on Domantas Sabonis and his reputation across the league as far as his contract.